Today I'm going to show you how to tie a Pulley Pennel drop down rig. It's actually, it sounds really complicated, but it's not. It's actually pretty simple, very much like the pulley rig in general. The beauty of this one is though that if you want to fish the bait very close to the bottom, especially if you're targeting rays and so on and so forth, that it is a better rig from that perspective compared to just a standard pulley rig. The components very much the same again as a normal pulley rig. You have the pulley bead and then just your pennel, set of pennel hooks at the end, beads, swivels, all this kind of stuff. The main difference is actually in this section where you have a bent rig clip. What actually happens is, sorry, I'm just trying to keep everything in shot here. It's actually quite a long rig. You can tie them in different lengths, the same as a normal pulley rig. This one is, yeah, probably when it's fully extended, it's probably around 8 to 10 foot, so clipped down probably around 4 to 5 foot. You can tie them shorter, especially you know, if you've got a strong tide pushing, you can tie them much shorter. You can tie them clipped at 3 foot even, and again, if you've got or if there isn't much of a flow and you want to keep everything again close to the bottom, you can actually tie them a lot longer, so you can actually make the rigs, you know, again probably around this length, actually probably around that 5 foot clip to 10 foot flowing. Again, it's a very good rig for rays, but it's also a very good rig you know, if you want to target you know, flatfish as well. So you just have to obviously vary the size of the hooks. I got some a Pennel 4.0 on here. It doesn't have to be a Pennel. You can fish, you know, a single 2.0, 3.0, for example, for if you're targeting smooth hound and so on, or even bass. But yeah, this one now is, you know, this is probably more of a rig for rays. So this one has two 4.0s. I'll go through all of that later, but essentially the main element of this drop down pulley rig is that you have this bent rig clip and the swivel catches onto there, and then that the top end of the trace here, you got another swivel which catches onto there, and then the pulley bead then extends up, and you'd clip that onto your main line. And then when this hits the water with your impact lead or breakaway lead, that actually comes off there, that goes up, and then you have this section which drops all the way down. If this doesn't tangle, I'll show you. This goes all the way down. Push that out of the way, all the way down. It will tangle, no doubt, because I have rolled it up just for the camera. You will see it goes all the way down and actually bounces again there, where you've got another rig clip, and it actually clips down to there. And then you've got this flowing trace which comes off there, which again, that bent rig clip. Beauty of using the rig clip here as well is this can actually be you just slide that off. Say you damage this line, you damage the hook or whatever, you actually just replace this section and the hooks, or for example you can just carry a few of these main bodies made up, and then you can actually switch this section according to what you're targeting. So if you're on the hounds, or if you're on the bass, you can actually change maybe to a 2.0 or something similar. You've got like the ray setup like I have here, or again you can put some even smaller hooks. You can go down, if you're targeting flatties or something, you can actually go down to, you know, 1s, 2s, whatever. So you just clip that off and replace it. So really simple, and now I'm going to show you how all of this is constructed. So these are all the key elements that you will need to construct the drop-down pulley rig. So pretty much, again, a lot of the same elements that you would need for a standard pulley rig. You've got the Gemini pulley swivel. I put my trust in them, they're strong and reliable. At the top end then, again, just where you need that bit extra strength, I've got a power swivel. That's a size 5 power swivel, which has got a breaking strain of, I think, just under 300 pounds. For the where your basically the rig length or the snood length comes off, I've just got a standard swivel. I think again that's around a size 5. I've got the bent rig clip, normal rig clip, a few beads. I think they're like 5 or 6 millimeter beads. I've got some rubber stops, and then the hooks, whatever you prefer basically. If you are doing the pennel setup, I do prefer the top one to have the upturned eye. It just fits basically better on the rig, and then the bottom one just to be a standard shape, more like the traditional Aberdeen. But this one would go on top, this one would go on bottom. You can actually fish a slightly smaller hook on top as well if you want. A lot of people I know do that, but that's for this one, that's going to be the general setup. Then in addition to that, I have the main rig is going to be the body of the rig is going to be constructed out of 80 pound mono, and then the snood length of the rig, the part going to the hook, is going to be with 60. You can vary that as you want. I would always advise fishing the rig body itself, so the 80. I would really recommend fishing that as heavy as you can get away with. More than anything, from a safety perspective, if you're swinging leads and stuff around, it's good to have a bit of security in your rig body. So again, I do prefer fishing 80. You can go even up to 100 if you wanted to. On the length that's going to the hook, that's not not really from a safety perspective. That's more down to what you're targeting. If you are targeting a lot of rays and stuff, 60 should be fine. If you are targeting some of the other stuff, you may want to go a bit heavier. If you're targeting bass and stuff, for example, you may even want to go a bit lighter, but that's entirely down to you. But essentially, again, like I showed you, you can actually carry a few of these sections made up and just clip them onto your bent rig clip as need be. So now I'm going to start with the construction of the drop down pulley. Okay, so first things first, we need to cut a length of the main rig body, and then we need to cut a length of the stuff that's actually going to the snood length, essentially, that's running down to the hook. Right, one part you really have to get correct from the start is the length of these two sections. Essentially, the rig body, which is the stronger stuff, needs to be slightly longer when you cut it than the snood length. Basically, the rig doesn't work if you don't do that. So I would recommend cutting your the snood length approximately 6 inches shorter than you do for the main rig body. It really is that simple, but just make sure that the snood length is slightly shorter when you cut it than the rig body. You can adjust it later if you do make it too long. It's not really and the end of the world, but just if you are cutting them in advance, make sure that the rig body is slightly longer than the snood length. Okay, so I've already cut 2 sections. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to actually do the hook section first. So that's going to be on the 60 pound. I'm not going to cut these, make them all full length, because for the purpose of the video, it's actually going to be really difficult to control a very long length of mono, but you're going to get the idea. Okay, so first and foremost, there's going to be a swivel. So it's not the power swivel, it's just the standard swivel, which is not as strong as the power swivels. And again, it doesn't need to be. So I'm just going to attach that just with a simple knot. That's actually called a Davy knot, one of my favourite knots. really simple. It's really small, really strong, very simple. You can see it there. If you want a bit more strength, you can actually use one called a double Davy, but for the purpose of again the video, Davy knot will be just fine. Just use whatever knot you have confidence in. Just snip that off. If you had a decent pair of scissors, it would probably help. Right, so snip that off, and on the other end of that, I'm just going to put on 2 rubber stops. So they use these for floats, stopping floats from sliding up the line and so forth. So just put your line through there, slide 2 up, take your line over, and that's them fitted onto your rig, onto the snoot length. And then take the hook with the bent eye and make sure it slides through this way. Okay, you don't want to be going through the other way, you want it going through that way so it's running down with the line. Okay, so slide that up, it's going to get stopped by those rubber stops, and then we're just going to tie on the bottom section, bottom hook. Slide that up, just give you a bit more room when you're tying off. Again, I'm just going to do a Davy knot like that. I know it looks very simple, but trust me, it's a very strong knot, especially in heavier nylons. On some of the lighter nylons it doesn't hold so well, but actually on heavier nylons it's superb. And that's that. Again, we're just going to snip the tag end. It's actually quite a fast rig to tie, but obviously because I'm talking it through, it's taking a bit more time. And then that slides down. That'll just stop the hook from sliding up, but essentially, you know, you put your bait on, and then you don't, essentially with because you've got the beads and stuff in, you don't have to twist. I still like twisting the nylon around the hook, to be honest, so I just go like that, and then you can have, you know, there's your finished bait presentation wise. Okay, so it really is that simple. But you can see, because of the bent eye, it doesn't kick the nylon off, it keeps everything nice and streamlined. So I do prefer, nowadays I do prefer the up eye. So that is essentially the hook part done. Again, just on the other side, we just have that swivel. Okay, so you can actually do a few of these up in different size hooks or whatever. Anything happens, you can just take this off, put a new one on, and you're back fishing without having to change the main rig body. Okay, so the next section we have to do is the main section. I always like starting at the bottom, because it stops stuff from sliding off just in case. So I just got just a rig clip again. So this is the 80-pound stuff. I'm just going to do a quick Davy knot. I'm doing this from behind the camera, so it's not as easy to work with. Bear with me. There you go. Just pull that down like so. Use some pliers just to grip and pull. There you go. Snip off the excess like so. Okay, so on the top end, got the other tag end up here. So on the top end, that's all we do now is, so everything's now in reverse. So we have the bead, we have the bent clip, and make sure when you put it on it goes that way, not that way. It has to go, so again it just runs in line. So when you put it on, you'll see that it actually clips or you know, closes down against the nylon, so that's perfect. Another bead. I'm going to put a second bead. Find how. The pulley swivel. Then we go to another bead. There's 4 beads in total, just like so. Yeah, if you can see that. And then the final one is just the power swivel at the top. Again, that's my strong swivel. That's £295. Just going to do that Davy knot, finish that off, pull that down, and that's the rig done. So as you can see, I've been talking through, just tag that, talking it through, so it's taken a bit longer than usual, but it really doesn't take that long. So, okay, so all you have to do now is bring your snood length back into shot. So we've got that there. So you've got the power swivel at the top, moving down. So all of that, as you can see, it's slid all the way down to the bottom, which is essentially what it will do when it's fishing. Just for the purpose of the video, I was going to clip on the breakaway lead, like so. And then onto there, you're going to clip on this swivel from your snood length. So snood length, the swivel goes onto that bent E-clip, or bent rig clip, like so. Okay, that's all that happens then is slide that back to the top, slide that back to the top like that, and then this swivel doubles back, clips onto there. That pulley swivel goes onto your main line, so that's up towards your reel, up towards your rod and reel. Then I'm going to follow this down. I'm going to keep that clip in place. The two sections are going down together, down together, down together, down together to here. Then that will clip onto there. You've got it baited up, clip it in like so, and it'll be tied up and ready to go. Okay. What happens then is that gets pushed off, that comes off, then at the top end that bounces off that swivel, which is already done, and then that slides down, so that's going to stay up by your reel, this section. This slides down, keep sliding down the rig body, keep sliding down, and that's going to find a home down the bottom by your lead. And essentially then this is going to be really free flowing out here and fishing really close to the seabed. Again, which makes it perfect for rays, flatties, and all that. But it really is that simple. A very effective rig. Definitely one you should be carrying in your rig wallets. Anyway, I hope this video brought you some value, and I hope it brings you some luck the next time you're out fishing. Tight lines.